Hello everyone and welcome to our latest streaming event. My name is Rob Newton and I'm marketing manager here at Visual Impact, and today we are joined by Chistine, one of the product managers from ARRI, and she'll be telling us all about the new Hi-5 handheld controller. Hi Chistine.
Hi everybody, nice to meet you and thanks for joining the webinar, and thanks to the host that you invited me to this opportunity to showing you the Hi-5.
It's our pleasure to have you here. While we're waiting for everyone to join, I just want to go through briefly some housekeeping. Please ask questions. It makes the presentation obviously more engaging, but you get a lot more out of it than just sitting there thinking, oh, I wish I'd asked that. So please ask and we will collect them at the end, but also if it's appropriate, answer it during the presentation. We are recording the webinar and we'll send you a link. So if you want to reflect on it again after you've listened to it today live, or you want to send the link to everyone else, then you'll have that opportunity. If you want to listen to previous webinars and podcasts and how-to videos that we've done, please check out our website, which is visuals.co.uk. Okay, I think everyone's booked in now, so I'll hand over to Chistine to begin the presentation.
Thank you for the nice welcome. So my name is Chistine Ajayi-Scheuring, and I was working together with my colleague Henrik Voss, who is the main head behind the Hi-5 hand unit on a new ARRI 3-axis hand unit Hi-5. You may have seen this picture when we launched it. So this was our first slogan, further, stronger, faster. And actually these three words were also our, let's say, our slogan when we did the development, because we said we had the feedback from WC4 and we said that we want to improve our radio. We want to improve also the weatherproofness of the hand unit, and we want to have a really improved workflow for the hand unit. This actually in the picture you can see the Hi-5. This was one of our first users, and actually we haven't told him that the Hi-5 is weatherproofed. He just like found it out by himself, and I think that's the best, let's say, the best commercial for us, because then the people can see that the Hi-5 is really robust. So these five main, let's say, Hi-5s, they stand for our new product. So high performance, as I said, is the strong radio signal. That means we have now the exchangeable radio modules. So I will start with this one. This is the RF AMIP. So this is the same we have already introduced with our CFOS Mini RF motor, or for example, for the Alexa Mini LF. So this is the latest version. Then we have the RF 2400. The main difference between the two is that the first, the AMIP, it is based on the direct spectrum method, and this one is based on the frequency hopping spectrum. So this means that in that case, you have a point-to-point connection, and you also don't have here the network mode. And the third radar module is the RF 900. So you can see there's a big antenna over there. So this is our radio module for the really long distances. For example, if you're shooting with drones, if you're shooting on trains or car shots, where these long distances are really required. Also because the radio module is based on the 900 frequency band. So this is under the radar, because as you know, everybody is now in the 2400 frequency band. So you have your mobile phones, you have a lot of products also in the lighting department, in the then also from the script department. So they are then the walkie-talkies, some of them, not all, but some of them. So there are so many products on the sets which have to deal with this huge amount of frequency noise. Then the second is that we said we want to have a radio modules which can be changed. This is something we said we need this because for the future we can have the chance to be always, let's say, on the latest standard. So if there's something coming up, for example, 5G or something else, then we can be on the pulse of the time and can make a radio module which is on the latest standard. Yes, then the third thing is this high speed. We said high speed means for us that we want to speed up the workflow. As we did this with our new Ecs Sync App, for example. We did this with our new smart focus ring, and I will talk about them later. And we did this also with our lens file management. The fourth thing is the high tech, and this is something we said. This is comes together with our radio modules to have this opportunity of exchanging the modules and having an interface for future products. And last but not least, and this was something we really put a lot of effort in it, that was to build a hand unit which is really robust. So we just went with it couple of times, actually many times, under the shower here in Vienna, and tried it out that this thing and this product is really capable of dealing with rain. Of course, that doesn't mean that you can take the Hi-5 and throw it into the water. So this is, of course, obviously not. But that means that if there's like rain outside, I mean like normal rain and not like a rain like you may have, let's say like a monsoon, but you can shoot and as you see in the picture, it is something where you can be confident that the hand unit is still working. And the last point that I said, that there's long battery life. So that means that we have built our new ARRI Hi-5 batteries, and I will talk about them later. So the next slide, you can see our 3 different radio modules, and just like to give you a brief, short information about them. So you can see in the first line over there, you can see the AMIP 300. The AMIP 300 was the radio module which we have used for WC4, for the Alexa Mini, for the Alexa SXW. So people are used to it. So we said, we want to improve this one. So we made already the 400S version. The 400S version, we had it a couple of years already out, but it never was built into the Hi-5, but we built it, as I said before, to the CFOS Mini RF motor, and we got really good feedback, and also to Alexa Mini LF, as I said. So we took this video module and built it into the RF AMIP. And as you can see, that the RF AMIP is similar to the RF 900, capable of coping with the network mode, so with multiple hand units, and this up to 3 hand units in the same network. Yeah, then there is also one radio module, and I want to mention it because last year in April, we released the so-called ERM 2400 LCS radio module. It is about this size, and we had it on big sets, for example on Batman. But of course, the people were telling us, please, can you make a radio module which is not smaller? So we did it with the RF 2400. And then the people ask us, is it possible to pair the 2 of them together? And I have to say no, because it is not the same protocol. So that's the reason why I mentioned this, because the people asked this during the last month when we released it a couple of times. Yes, the next slide is about the compatibility. So the RF AMIP module is as I said, it's based on the AMI we had already introduced with all our wide radio built-in radio modules in our camera. So we have it in the SXU and WC4. So all the devices you already know, like our motor controllers as well, they are compatible with it. This is actually important also when you, for example, and then going back to the last slide, for example, when you shoot with the Hi-5 hand unit and you also have an XXU, for example, as DRT, then you can use it because it's in the same, it uses the same radio module, the wide coded radio. So coming to the next slide, we're talking about the rear. So on one hand, you have the radio modules we have on the Hi-5, but of course you need on the other side a counterpart. And this is important first when you are not shooting with an ARRI camera, because it then doesn't have the wide radio built in. And second, it is important when you want to use the other radio modules, the RF 2400 or the 900. Then you need this counterpart, and this is this one. So you can see it also in the picture, and I can just show you over here. It's just quite small. And then here you slide in your radio module, and you can see over here we have 4 different connectors. Actually, because people also ask us what is the main feature of it. It is similar to a motor controller you're used to use, like the AMC or the UMC. Of course, the UMC has the metadata opportunity, but it's a motor controller as you are used to it. And the second thing is that when you're using it with, of course, with the radio module, then you can use it as a receiver or a transmitter. And I will show you some use cases where it is once a receiver or transmitter. I just want to talk just short about the connectors, because people ask us also regarding the serial connector. So first, the elbows, I think is something you all know already, because we had it in all our elbows devices. Then the CAM 7-pin port, we already had it in our CFOS Mini RF motor. So you may know it. So this one over here. And then we have a new serial port, because usually it is 7-pin and this is the 4-pin. This is also something which will be in our new camera, but I cannot talk about this, of course. But this is an interface which we want to have in the future in other devices as well. And this interface is then compatible with the focus bark or the UDM and the Cine tape. And when you want to use that, then you also have to change something in the menu, which then I will show you later on as well. And then at the end, you have the 5th interface. This is the USB-C interface. And this is, for example, if you have an USB-C flash drive like this one, then you can just like put your software update package file on there, and you can just quick and easy doing the software update. On the bottom, you can see several mounting points. So we have built a new bracket. So this is this one. That's the rear bracket. And also you can use the L bracket, as you know. It is depending on the cage you have for your Alexa Mini LF, for example. It depends which one you can use. Of course, then the different kind of setups, which is preferred by the DOP. I would just like quickly start to power it up. So in that case, I will remove the cover and just add the radio module. So actually, our user interface is really, really easy and simple. So of course, we have, as you're used to know and use it with the CFOS Mini RF, you can choose your channel. So in that case, I would choose 8, for example. Then we have a mode is called host or client. The host stands as the master. That means, for example, so when you use the rear on a third-party camera for, let's say, a Sony camera or a Red camera, then you have to set up it to the function H for host. Or you can put it into client. Then client, and it's here, it's the C. This is, as for example, a use case when you want to use it on an OCO1. And I brought one with me. So you have the OCO1, and then you put this on your OCO1 together with the battery, and then you can use it also as a wireless tool. For example, if a DOP is standing or is sitting at the back next to the DOT, and he wants to control with a simple unit his iris, then he can do this as well with it. Or, for example, if you have an SXU or WC4 and you want to improve the range, I mean that you want to use for example, the RF 900 or the RF 2400, then you can use it with this as well. So just like in this case, you have the cable LCS to Elbus, then you can plug it over there to Elbus and to LCS to the WC4. Then of course the region, there's the region, then there's the language, then the device info, and the update and the brightness. And there's also one nice feature which I really like, that's the so-called stealth mode. This is, I think, helpful, for example, if you have, if you're shooting in a dark place and you don't want to have too much lights on the devices on the camera, then you can just like turn this to the stealth mode, and then it gets really, really dark. Yeah, so actually this is most of the things I can show with the rear from the settings. So as you see, it's really, really simple. And I just like put this away as we will use it later on. And then coming to the next slide, as I said, that we have a new connector, and this is the serial connector, the 4-pin. So for this, in that case, you need like 2 new cables for the UDM, because we had, as I said, the 7-pin before, and for the CNRT, this cable actually is available from them. I think I have it over there. So then please order this from Focusbug if you want to use it. And of course, the CAM cable, this is not something new, but I have to emphasize on the CAM 7-pin cable for Sony Venice, because for the CFOS Mini RF motor, we had another one. We had the Hyros 4-pin, and this one won't support our new feature with the Hi-5 license for the camera control for the Sony. So in that case, please use then the new cable, the Sony Venice 8-pin cable, which goes directly to the remote port of the Sony Venice. The other cable, I think you know them. It's to the Ecs and to the LCS. So, and this is nothing new. Here you can see a nice, I think, a really simple setup. That means you have the camera. On the camera side, you have then the rear. So I just like built one over here already. So you have the camera, you have the rear, and this goes directly to our export. And then you have the LBS, the Elbus connection. And it's really important to use this, because if you forget this, to connect the motors directly to the rear, then this setup doesn't work. And then, of course, we have, as I said, we have the new serial connector, the 4-pin connector for your UDM. So I just pinned over here UDM, so we can see then the values, but I also already put in over here the Focusbug, just like to then change the settings to show which things are possible for the new license. Here you can see just like a quick overview of our new display. because I think it's better to see it over here, because I think it's maybe too small. So, so what are the big changes? First, you can see this small and little A. This A stands for the automatic detection of your pre-marked rings. They are now called smart focus rings. So we have one over here. So I take this one. So we have 10 in meters, and we have 10 in foot. And when I take this one and put it directly to the Hi-5, then I can automatically see in that case, it's a 9-inch, you can see directly the detected ring. So you don't have to go into the menu and change it. Then on the top, you can see the BT for Bluetooth. This is important, as I already mentioned, that we have done a new Ecs Sync App. And you have, of course, to power it up in the Hi-5. When you want to do that, then you have to go to our setup and go to system, and there is now the Bluetooth menu entry, and then you can just like power it up. This is important that there's a checkbox that is it is signed. Otherwise, of course, you cannot do the connection. And then you can just see over there that the Hi-5 already is recognized by your phone. And I will talk about the ECS a little bit later. Then we have on the right side, we have the USB. Actually, on the same place, you can also see the percentage of your new batteries. In that case, you see USB, because you can also do the power of powering up the hand unit, for example, via a power bank, and then it's USB. If you have the smart focus, if you have the new batteries, then you would see the percentage. And this is a feature where so many, let's say, the last 5 years or more, the First to See asked us so many times that with the old batteries we had with WC4, that they cannot really know how empty the battery is. So they say, okay, please, can you get the protocol? Actually, we couldn't get the protocol. So we said, okay, we don't mind. We will make our own batteries. And now they are, here they are. So this is, I think, a nice feature. Yeah, the other green things is something you may know from WC4 before. This is the value of your distance measurement device, and on the right side you have the green triangle. And there's something new. That's the last thing on this page. This is the X-wide indication, and this is actually indication from the focus bug. And I will talk about this also later. Yeah, the Hi-5 has an elbows connector. This is important, for example, if you want to update an elbows device via the Ecs Sync App, then you can also add, for example, USB1 over there. Then we have a serial connector. In this case, this serial connector in the Hi-5 is something for future devices. So in this case, you cannot use it at the moment, but we already built it into the Hi-5 hand unit. Then we have a USB-A connector. This USB-A connector is on the bottom. So, no. So I think I have too short nails today. Yeah, I don't know why, but this is maybe the, things always happen like this when you want to show something. So here's the USB-A slot for your Bluetooth stick, and you can also use it for powering and all other things as well. Then you have the USB-C on the top. This is actually really helpful because I'm using it for lens file management. I'm using it also for software update as well. So you can use it also for powering, so different usage. And actually all these functions you can be found on the Hi-5 website as well. Yeah, and I think now I will show you some, let's say, my most favorite features I like on the Hi-5. The first feature I want to show you is the tail slate feature. So you may know that or experience already on the set that when you're shooting and then there's so much rush going on, and then the director is saying thank you, then as first is he just like press this rec button quite fast and quick, and then you can say, oh, sorry, but I forgot to do the end slate. So in this case, you can just like press this button longer. And then now you can see over here, there is the slate, the tail slate. And then in that case, if you press this rec button again, just really quick, then you couldn't stop the recording because you have to press it longer. And then you can stop the recording. So this is a nice feature, and actually I experienced this myself when before working for ARRI, being a DOP, and then I always forget the end slate. So I think this is really helpful. The second feature I already mentioned is the auto detection of the pre-marked rings. So and I show it already. You have over here we have over here we have these connectors, and we have the pogo pins over here on the Hi-5. And then when you just like put it on, you have the detected smart focus ring, and you can save a little bit of time. People were asking me a couple of times if the WC4 rings are compatible with the Hi-5. Actually, we have 5, in this case not 10 as the Hi-5 focus rings, and the metric ones, they are compatible, but the impair ones, not all of them, and there are still some missing. But we did this so actually because of that reason we said we want to do new improved focus rings as well. So I'm sorry that at the moment you cannot use all the WC4 rings, but I think using the new one, it's much better workflow because we did also some improvements in the accuracy. So the third feature I want to show you, and I like it personally because I also know that when you're shooting, you have like maybe 3 or 4 or more cameras on set, and usually you have your tape or something like this, not as small like this, but a tape, and then you have there big letters like A, B, C, or D. So in this case, you can help yourself and just like do and change the backlight of your knob. So here now the backlight is off, and I just like will start to set it to a higher value, and then over here I can change the knob color. So there's the white, that's white, red, green, there's blue, and there's yellow, magenta, and cyan. So there are different kind of colors you can choose, and then so you can see the difference when they have 5 are standing on the table, show which camera is which hand unit. I think it's a nice feature. I like it. It's like a disco feature for Hi-5. So then the next feature, which is maybe helpful, I remember when my colleague Henrik and me, we were at the Kammermarsch and standing in Poland on this festival, and there there was this focus puller coming to us, and then he said, oh, there's so much information on the WC4 display, and sometimes this information, it really distracting me while doing the focus pulling. So in this case, and I mean, like, for example, you have an iris mode over there, but you don't, there's no need of seeing the iris scale. So this is a quick possibility. There's a quick possibility to just like press one button. Actually, you can press all of them, and then if you have, for example, also a zoom axis, then you can hide it as well. But I will show it with the iris. So you press this once, and then the iris scale is hidden, and the same is also with the focus scale. So it depends which scale you want to see. It's really, I think, a nice feature as well. And you can concentrate really on your focus value or your iris value. The next feature, which I heard from many focus pullers they wish to have, and this is in a setup, for example, if you have the Hi-5 and you want to control a camera only using the focus motor, because you have the camera on a drone, for example, because having the camera on a drone means you want to have less weight. It's always about the weight. So in that case, then the DP is telling you, okay, please get rid of the iris motor. There are also DPs who say, okay, I want to do my iris myself, and then you have to skip the iris motor. So in this case, if you are a focus puller and you want to see your depth of field, then you can also, as in that case, I have my iris motor there. So that means then you have to get rid of the iris motor, but I can show you this here over there. Then you have here in the menu, the manual T-stop, and then you can just like enter the value, and then you can see your different depth of field over there. Yeah, another feature is the left-handed mode. This is really funny because there are also some DPs who wrote us emails why we didn't change this in WC4. So we said that this is a feature which really needs to be in the Hi-5. Actually, the first feedback when we released the Hi-5 was that if we also have the smart focus rings, the Primark rings for the left-handed mode, unfortunately not, but all I can say that we are working on this. So this is something which will be coming up in the future, but I can also show you just like how quick this is to do the change. You have your control setup over here, and then you can see here the left-handed mode, and you click just the checkbox, and then you can use it this way. So you can see in that case that this doesn't fit because that's the other way around, but this will come in the future. But for those people who are left-handed, they can use the Hi-5 and can see the Hi-5 scales in the right direction. I will change the page now. Then you can also see this is the previous version. I go back and change it to the left-handed mode. And now it's the other version for the left-handed people. So going back again, because I'm a right-handed person. So the next feature is I want to show you how easy and quick it is to import a lens file from an external device. You can use, like, for example, this one, but also I think I don't have one over here, but you can use also like a common external small device as well. It doesn't have to be this USB stick. You can just like take this USB stick and put it over here. As I said, this is for use for software updates and as well for lens file management. So now you have the indication USB over here. And then you go to lens. I already have a couple of lens files. So then I choose lens files. And then I press the function button. And now you have the, you can decide between the internal lens file and the external lens files. So in this case, it's the external lens file because the internal lens files means it's the lens file stored in the Hi-5. So then I activate the external lens files, and then I can choose all the lens files which I want to add to my Hi-5. And then I select them, and then I press import. And then it's really fast, it's already done. I can go to my internal lens files now, and all the lens files I have selected, there already have been some others before on the Hi-5, but then all my lens files are now on the hand unit. So this import export is quite fast. And then the next step, of course, is you want to use the lens file for the camera. That means you want to send it to the camera as a motor controller, or you want to send it to the rear, or you want to send it to a CFOS Mini RF, or some others like UMC4. So all the motor controllers, you just like press the lens again, your lens files you already have chosen, and then I will choose, let's do it, for example, the ultra prime. Here we have a signature prime, but I already have the lens file over there, so just like to show you how easy this is. Yeah, you can press this button, and then you can press use, and then the lens file has been sent to the camera. So I want to just like make a short break to give you time to ask some questions, and then I will move forward. So are there any questions?
Hi, Chistine. Yeah, we've got a couple. Are the connectors on the smart rings weatherproof?
The connectors on the smart rings, they are weatherproof, yes, because this is no connector as you mean this one? No, there are no connectors as you have with the with Hi-5, so it doesn't matter if there's a little bit water coming in. No.
Okay, and the next one is, would the RIA1 be able to output values via the USB-C as an adapter for works with Unreal Engine to perform E-force values, or just the UMC4 that has that ability?
Actually, at the moment, no. This is a good question. I will put this on the list. I know that now everything is like going into this this IP connectivity for the volumetric studios. So this is a really need. So thanks for asking. And at the moment, no.
And the last question so far is, how far will the signal reach with the Hi-5 versus the WC4?
Actually, it's we tested this out. It's like more than 1 kilometer. We already had it on the field. Actually, the same we tested with the 2400. It's just like a couple of weeks ago, we went out to a field and just really like, we were walking, and it was really, really quick. Even though when we lost the connection, just like getting the connection back, it was really fast. We just like tested out. For example, we like we're walking, and then we just like turn around, and we just like did like this to test how quick the reconnection will be, and it just like was within a few seconds or less, just like turning around and the connection was there. So in both like the 2400 and also the AMIP RF AMIP, they are quite similar with the range. So it's about like 1 kilometer. Even though we don't, as you may have seen, we don't put like numbers on our website. This is because you never know if there are like, if you are shooting in an environment where there are so many other radar interferences, then of course we cannot deal with this. So we said, okay, actually it's better than the Hi-5. It's better than the WC4, and it's also, as I said, the RF AMIP. It's the latest version we never had in the WC4 before of the radio module.
Hey, just the last two, and then I think it'd be worth moving on. Is it possible to connect the ZMU3 as it did on the WCU 3 and 4? Some people are a big fan of that.
Unfortunately not, but all I can say for now is something new will be coming up quite soon. So, but not the W3, not the ZMU3 at the moment.
Okay, and finally, if you're on set with the WC4 SXU and the Hi-5, will they all work together?
Yes. For example, one use case would be you have the Hi-5, yes, and then let's say, okay, I now have two of them, but let's say this one is a WC4 and the second and the third one is the SXU. Then you can just like have two opportunities. The first opportunity is that you use like the internal AMIP radio module, yes, and then you can just like say I split my my access control as I use with the AMIP, because the AMIP is capable of the network mode. Or if you want to say, okay, I have my DOT like sitting like far away over there, and he, I suppose, is the one you really need the longest distance, then in that case, I would choose the opportunity to have the internal radio module used, for example, by the focus puller with the Hi-5, and then you have, for example, the DOT with and rear, because you can also, as I said, use an rear connected to the SXU, or you can directly use the SXU and connect then to the 2400 in that case, if you're using the rear. But of course, in that case, you can always use the 3 hand units if you are using the RF AMIP.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I think maybe move on with the rest of the presentation, and we'll cover the last few questions at the end. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. There's one nice feature. I think people may haven't seen this before, because I don't think we've shown it on our website from the Hi-5. So here you can see the scale, and I can just like squeeze it and punch it. Like, can you see this over there? It's just like you can just like put it in the way you like it, with a distance between the marks and the values. So it's a nice feature, especially, for example, if you're shooting with macro lenses and you want to see the slight differences in pulling the focus of on the hand unit. Yes. Then the next point was the export log files. This is something which is not so important for the focus puller, which on set, but this is something which is really important for us at ARRI, because, as you know, we are trying to making the software as best as possible. But of course, you can never have a totally perfect software. There's always improvements possible. So in this case, we get during the year a lot of emails, and sometimes it's really hard to get all the informations together from the first DC, because we know the time it's so less, and it's really everything is really in the rush on the set, and in that case is as for us, then it's hard to get the feedback. So we said, okay, we need somehow an opportunity to get the information about the setup and to get the information how was the user setup in the Hi-5. So we said, okay, we have the feature of exporting a log file. For this, you also need a flash drive. For example, this USB stick we're already used for the updates. We can use, as I said, for lens files, and also for exporting the log file. So in that case, you press the page button twice again. Then you go to System over here, and then on the bottom, you can find the export log file, and this takes a little bit of time, but it's still very quick. And then you can send this file to us, in that case, to our ARRI service. And in best case, some details, also which camera you have used and which modus you have used, or which other devices you have used as well. And then for us, it's much easier to just quicker fix the bugs. So that's now it's finished, yes. Quicker fix the bugs and to get this bug fixes on the next release, software releases. And this is something I really would be happy in the future, that if all the users are using our Hi-5 and if they find something where they say, oh, this is an issue, I want to get this fixed as quick as possible, then it is much easier to get this log file. So please send them to us or to our service centers, and then we can trying to fix this until the next hotfix. Yeah, then there are the opportunity of having function levels. The function levels, I put another, yes, the function levels there are for setting marks and limits. I don't show them because I think you really know them. I can maybe show one mark. So you press the focus, the function button once, then you can see the mark, and you press it again, and then you can see the limit. So for example, if I want to set marks, so go to, let's say, one mark over here, and then the next mark over here, and then the third mark over here. And a big improvement to the WC4, you can see that the marks have different colors, and the marks have a number. So you know there's one mark is 1, 2, 3. So I think this is helpful as well when you have, let's say, some marks on the floor, or you have like 3 characters, then you can say, okay, one mark is like for character A and the second one is character B. So maybe this is a helpful tool for one or another person. And then clearing the mark is just like pressing this again, and then you can clear the mark. So you have to go to the mark you have set before, and you press it once, and then it's cleared out. Then there are these user buttons. You also knew before with WC4 we had one. This was the red one. Some people call it also the panic button because they use it for this focus tracking. But now the user buttons, they have more functions which are new. These are the functions also used for focus bug. You as may remember on the first screens there was this name is called X wide. So in that case, it's about the spreading and the angle of the horn of the CNRT. So you can just like decide how thin or how narrow or how wide it is. So in that case, you can also put the 3 options. That means the normal, the default, or the wide or the X wide on one of the user buttons. And also, as you may know, we introduced with WC4 the function of the override. So this is also working with the Hi-5. And now I just like will one setting before I end, one last setup. Just like to see that you can see how the menu, because people were asking this us a couple of times. So now it's been set up. So we have over here now the option to have set the user buttons to, let's say, to toggle between 2 sources, because with the focus bugs, as you may know, we have the opportunity to measure via the horn or also via the bugs. And then you can toggle between the 2 bugs, or also you can just like do the focus tracking before, or you can do the logouts as well. All our licenses actually can be found over here. And in that case, I have installed licenses, the FocusBug license and also the Red and the Sony license. So you can just like check if, for example, you rent out a hand unit, if all the licenses are already installed. Just like some quick information, and I think maybe skip because of timing this this slide, but you have may seen it on our website. So these are the licenses will be coming up. That's the camera control for remote for ARRI. It's already there from the beginning, so this is nothing new. But the Red camera control will coming up, and the Sony. And now at the moment, and I'm sorry to say, but this may be not happening this year in December, so had to be postponed to the beginning of the new year. But we're still of course like pushing everything forward that this feature's getting out, because we know how important these features are for you, especially the FocusBug and especially the Sony Venice camera control feature. Just like a quick information also regarding the FocusBug license. So as I said, there are this the opportunity to select the field of view. As I showed you before, there was actually over here, the X wide over here. Then you can display as a multiple values. That means in this case, you can see over here, the green triangle is the value of the horn. And the red value is the value of your bug. And with the user button, I have shown you at the back. So this user button, maybe it's nicer to see it over here, because to have it over here. So the user button, you can just like do the toggling between the two sources. So the source 1 is the horn, the source 2 is the FocusBug. And then when you toggle from the horn, the green one, to the bug, the red one, then the value turns red. And also the triangle isn't filled up. So this is not filled up, and then it gets filled up. Yes, I think the other one, like setting the film plane offset and the sensitivity, this is something which people already know from the UDM. But as you may know, that the FocusBug, they have this little handset, and of course, as a focus puller, you may not want to have like two devices in your head. That's why we say, okay, as we want to give the focus puller the opportunity to set these values within. Last thing I wanted to show you is the Ecs Sync App, as you said. As I said before, that we have here the Bluetooth slot for the app, and I can just easily connect this via this app over here. So with the Bluetooth, and then as the Hi-5 is shown, and then I have my app open. So I just like have my app over here, and yeah, you can see it quite quick. You can see the Hi-5 hand unit. So I just like move now to the slide, because I already have the same image on my slide, and then I can show you what kind of stuff you can find over here. So first of all, you can also say, I want to check how many lens files are on my Hi-5, and these are the lens files I added before, as you remember, with my USB-C flash drive to the Hi-5, and I can have them over here, but I can also say I wanna drag them and move them to my phone, or I wanna download this to my phone and send it to another person. Also on the picture, you can see over here, that's the C-Force Mini RF motor. This is helpful if you want to update a motor, for example, also a normal C-Force motor, because the C-Force Mini RF, it has the display, and the C-Force motors, the others, the plus and the minus, don't have displays. And in this case, you don't know, also often you don't know which kind of firmware is on it, and if the firmware is on the later status. So with the Hi-5, and with the app, it is quite easy to just like take your motor, you just like quickly take an Elbows cable and you just plug it over here to the USB-C, to the Elbows connector, and you can then see if I have to add power to the motor, otherwise I cannot see it. So and now I can see that we have the Hi-5 and the C-Force Mini RF motor added to the hand unit. And then in that case, I can just like see that there is a an update available. I can press download, and then my my motor gets automatically updated to the latest version. So you can use this then for all our Elbows devices we already have out there in the future. Of course, our updates will also be available on the website, so both ways are possible to go. Another opportunity is that, of course, you can say, let's take this off again because I can take the Hi-5. So in the Hi-5, there's also opportunity to store user setups, and then you can just like send it to the via Bluetooth to the app, and in that case, the user setups from the Hi-5 are already there. And when you enter it, you can see all the different settings. For example, the torque is now for focus set to 3. So this is helpful. For example, if you have a Hi-5 which is not belonging to you, then you can just load the user setup you had on your previous shoot. Another opportunity to use the Ecs Sync App is using it to see how accurate a lens file has been programmed. This is, I think, important if you get some lens files from your colleagues, because I heard that there are like huge amount of clouds already on Google Drives and Dropbox clouds out there where people are sharing the lens files. And then I think it's important to see just a quick look how accurate the lens files and the values have been taken. So it's easy to just like check this. So you have your lens files, for example, the Allura zoom, and I can quickly go into the lens file and can see how the lens file has been taken over here. And the last but not least, as I said, there are so many lens files already out there from others, but also you can quickly load your lens file from your cloud to the Hi-5 Ecs Sync App. And yeah, I move to my last slide. So this is the workflow, because some people ask me before how this workflow is going. Just like you have your lens over here, you just select it and then you export it directly to the Ecs Sync App. And then in the Ecs Sync App, you have it over here and you can move it or copy it to the folder you wish to have it. And then you have the lens files all on your iPhone and can share it with others, or can use it for other shots. Thank you. I think I'm done with my presentation. I think, of course, there are so many things I wanted to tell. The time is too short for this, but please check out our upcoming tech tips. where you can see a lot of new things as well. Some things you already heard from me now, and I welcome you. If you have any questions, you can ask them, and I'm still here.
Well, that was brilliant, Chistine. Thanks for that. We've just got a couple. The vibrate function on marks on the WCU4 activates a bit late, someone's saying. Has that changed on the Hi-5?
Yes. Yes, has been changed.
Excellent, nice, short and sweet. And someone's saying how robust is the unit, the Hi-5?
Yeah, actually, as I said, we did all this shower tests all the time. I think you can shower with it, but I won't recommend, of course, because then people may go swimming. It's not possible to go swimming with it, but you can use it when you have like shooting somewhere in a desert. As I said, it's really like a lot of sand and dust, because we made the Hi-5 hand unit dust proof as well. And we make it really sealed. We did a lot of testings as well, according to the robustness when you shoot in cold conditions. We have here, actually we now here in the R&D department, and we have here also like a climate chamber where we can test the Hi-5 hand unit to high degrees and cold degrees as well. So this is also possible to use it in this difficult situations when shooting somewhere, I don't know, in Alaska. So yeah, I would say the Hi-5 is really robust, and there's a big huge step into the WC4, because the Hi-5 really we put a lot of effort in getting this as robust and sealed as possible.
Excellent. Well, a couple of big thank yous. I think one to Chistine for coming back and doing the presentation. It's very useful. I found it very useful, and I'm sure everyone else will too. So thanks for that. I appreciate it. And obviously thanks to everyone who's been listening and joining in. I hope you enjoyed it, and goodbye for now.
And thank you for inviting me to this day. And I really appreciate this session with you.